Hey, what's up, everybody? I was driving to my client probably about 30 minutes ago, and I couldn't help but remember this particular drill that I had all the high school football players that I was helping, like I was telling you in the other video about being a strength coach for a college prep school. And our first year we went undefeated except for, I think it was one of the preseason games. But the cohesiveness, the bond of the players was not that great, athletically speaking. Knowing each other and knowing of each other was a little strange, because you would think that there would be a lot more of the players that knew each other, not knew of each other. There was a couple of them that did know a lot about each other, but this particular school starts at preschool and they go all the way up to 12th grade. It's all in the same school. So they have lower division, middle division, and upper division. So for the United States, it's elementary, preschool, elementary, kindergarten. Then you have middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then you have 9th grade, 10th, 11th, and 12th, which is high school. All in the same school. And a lot of these kids basically have stayed in the same school from when they were toddlers all the way up until they were graduating and going off to college. But because these kids have never really bonded, they just knew of each other. They knew about the surface story of the players to the left and right of themselves. That's one thing that I noticed when I got on staff there. So I wanted them to do a team building exercise, and it was basically you take a ball that's against the wall. Sorry, again, shaking. I had to check in real quick. What's up, Mr. Marky Fisk?
Gotcha.
Have a fabulous day.
Sounds right.
Have a fabulous day. Stay classy.
It's a must, man. You too.
Hey, I'm telling you. Listen, it is a must. Have a good one, sir. Sorry about that. So you put the ball about 7 feet high up against the wall, and you have all the students form almost like what would be a bridge. The goal is to get the ball from point A to point B. And point B, so if the ball is here, I know it's actually opposite of, okay, so if the ball's here up against the wall at 7 feet, 8 feet, whatever, the ball has to go from point A, which is here, all the way down to point B, which is in a bucket or a bin or a trash can or something. Every person has to touch the ball at least once. The ball cannot be carried. It cannot lose contact with a student. And yeah, and the ball cannot fall, cannot bounce, or nothing. I hope I explained the rules correctly. So what everyone did was they lined up. I'm holding my mirror because I'm driving on bricks now. I'm just parking, but so they formed what would be like almost like a human bridge, and they got the ball from point A to point B. The first time it took them probably about 7 or 8 minutes. We're talking about smart kids. We're talking about kids that are going to MIT, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Brown. Remember, it's not a football school. It is not an athlete. Well, I mean, they have baseball, they have volleyball, soccer. Those are really, really good sports that they have, that they've been pretty consistent with their ranking in the state. But I saw them do it, and I was like, oh man, they're kind of onto something. It's a little different than how I would have done it, but I've done the test or done the activity before, so I kind of know the shortest way of getting the ball from point A to point B and how fast. And so I had them do it again and then again. So like let's say the first time was like 5-7 minutes ish, and then the second time was maybe 2.5 minutes, and then the third time was like 3 seconds. And it was interesting because when I had them do this, the quiet kids, it was interesting. When I said, these are the rules, I wrote the rules down on a piece of paper, and I hit the clock. I said, go. And you would think that the alphas of the group, the ones that are always the shot callers, the ones that are always telling everyone what to do, how to do it, when to do it, you know, if they're good or bad, you know, those people, those students, those boys, I thought we were going to step up. They were the ones that went completely silent. The students that I always saw as being more beta, they were the ones that were more of the followers. They were the ones that were always being picked on, whether it was like bullying or like real bullying, or it was just messing around, constantly like harassing, but they never stood up for themselves and be like, hey bro, like, unacceptable, don't put your hands on me. This is my personal bubble. The only people who are in this bubble are me, the Lord, and my girl. You don't put your hands on my bubble, and don't do it again. They don't step up like that. They're like, stop, oh my God, I'm gonna tell. You know what I mean? So those are the ones that stood up and said, all right, Johnny, go this way. Johnny, go that way. Okay. All right. Hey, Biff, get this. And Chico, get that. And Charlie, get that. And Billy, do this. And it was like, it was beautiful seeing how the social dynamics changed. I walked away from it. I think it was in the book of Nehemiah. I think it was Nehemiah, where he was, I think it was Nehemiah. He was the, oh man, or it could have been the book of Joshua. I don't remember which one it was in the Bible where they were rebuilding the wall, and everyone around the city had to focus on what was in front of them. The demolished wall that's in their backyard. They're not going to their neighbors. They're not going to the town hall. They're not going to the other side of the city to repair their walls. They're staying at their home and focusing on point A to point B, and only focusing on this. Focus on your piece of the wall. And brick by brick, like Will Smith said in one of his interviews, Will Smith, the actor, he said when he was a kid, they had a brick wall in their front yard, and him and his little brother, or it was him and his big brother, I think it was him and his little brother, were told by their father to demo the wall and then rebuild it. And when they went to go demo the wall, the father told them to only lay one brick at a time, one brick per day. And what it taught him was patience in laying that brick as perfectly as a brick could be laid. Now think about it. If you were only to lay one brick, you can finagle it, I think that's a word. You can mess with it, you can get it perfectly dressed with the brick that's to its left or to its right or on the bottom. And you can lay that mortar down, and that whatever it is that is binding the bricks together, or the cement, and you can do it as perfectly as it could possibly be done, because you're not worried about quantity, you're worried about quality. And it got me thinking about all the different players that we play with on a day-to-day basis. We don't know, we know of them, we know their surface level of who they are, but we don't know who they are, what their gifts and talents are, what their strengths and weaknesses are. We just make assumptions based on what their hanger is. We look at their numbers, their stats, the damage, average damage done, average kills killed, and average it's damage, kills, and win percentage. And we make an assessment or a judgment based on those numbers. And that's not always accurate, especially if you were to look and self-reflect on your own stuff and be like, my win percentage is like 22%, but I'm a baller, man. I'm great at the game. I'm amazing at the game. I'm just getting losing streak after losing streak after losing streak. I wonder what people think of me then. So this is a great opportunity, you know, look at the people that are in your clan. Get to know them. And I say this a lot, and shoot, every single video that I put out, it has something to do with getting to know the people to your left and right. Because if you get to know them, and you know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and they know what your strengths and weaknesses are, they can lift you up when you get down. They can lift you up when you get down and you don't even know that you're down yet. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. I mean, how often have you looked to your buddy to your left and to your right? It doesn't matter if it's in a game or if it's in life, and you see them falling, whether it's morally, or their character, their actions, whatever, and you want to say, hey dog, hey, let's have a little come to Jesus meeting. Let's chat, man. What's going on? How's your day going? How's everything going on at home? How's your relationship with your girl or your dude? How's your relationship with your parents? How's your relationship with your kids? Hey man, I'm noticing that you're drinking a lot more than you normally do. Is everything okay? If you could see in them, they know that something is stirred up in a negative sense inside, but they're trying to hide it. The shell of themselves are trying to prevent other people from noticing it because they don't want other people to see a weakness in themselves. So if you were to say, hey man, I'm seeing you backpedal a little bit. Hey, is everything okay? You can maybe even help save that life. Because that person might be faking it till they made it. Faking it. I'm waiting for my client. He said he was going to meet me out here because we're going into a country club to work out, and I'm not a member here, so I'm looking around like, looking for the popo. But if you think about it, somebody who is in a downward spiral, they want to protect their ego, they want to protect their image that the world has of them, and so they're going to fake it till they make it, fake it till they make it. Now, I'm telling you right now, faking it till you make it is exhausting. Get extra lines in your forehead. Your skin starts to get dry and cracking. You start to get gray hair in your beard. That's kind of insane, isn't it? You start to lose your hair. Can't get your thing up. Just saying. Oh, here he is. So, any hizzle, get to know your folks. I love you guys. I will holler at my peeps. Peace, guys.